All right, well, we want to welcome you to your Benchmark Universe webinar. We're really excited to have all of you on board and using this wonderful resource with your students. We're going to go through how you and your students will log into the program, how you can get in, start looking at books, create assignments and bookshelves so that you and your students can both utilize this wonderful resource in your instruction. So with that, to get to your Benchmark Universe page to log in, you're going to go to wake.benchmarkuniverse.com. So this is the same page that both the teachers and the students will log into their accounts. You're going to put your username here, your password, and then you'll click on the sign in. If something is not working correctly once you are in Benchmark Universe, what we first ask you to do is come back to this Benchmark Universe site and click on the system check. This is also a really great thing to do with your Chromebooks or your iPads before students start using it and you're in the heat of the moment in instruction. It's great to go ahead and do a system check. This will show you if you have like pop-ups blocked or anything that might prohibit normal use on Benchmark Universe. The other thing I want to point out is there's also a forgot password button here. So at any point in time, if you or your students need to reset their password, you're going to go ahead and click on this and then answer the security question and answer, and then it'll prompt you to go ahead and change your password. So I am going to go ahead and show you a little bit more about Benchmark Universe. So once you have logged in to your account on Benchmark Universe, you're going to get to your main page. As you can see, this looks very much like most of our computer programs with apps and tiles these days. So this is your main menu for Benchmark Universe. You are going to be spending 95% of your time in the My Library. So that's today where we're going to spend most of our time as we're going through the webinar. But I do want to point out a couple other areas in Benchmark Universe. The messages tile. This is where you and your students can message back and forth. At this point in time, students do not have the ability to message back and forth between each other. This is just a way for you to communicate with your students. So at some point in time, like if you give your students a reading assignment in here, which we'll explore, you can say, hey, just a reminder, your reading assignment is due on Tuesday. Or, hey, I want you to check out this book on baseball math. So this is just a way for you and your students to communicate. Likewise, if you've created an assignment for your students and they're struggling with their assignment outside of class hours and they need your help, this is their way of raising their hand and saying, hey, virtually, I need your help on this. Okay. The next tab we're going to do some exploring with is the assignments. And this is where all of your assignments are housed. And like I said, we'll be looking at that. There's book reviews where you and your students are able to create book reviews in Benchmark Universe. You will also have a Manage Students tab, and this is where you'll see all of your student accounts. You can create reading groups, intervention groups, however you want to see your students' accounts. If you need to get account information, it's all right there for you. The other couple tiles I want to point out is this benchmark blog. This has some wonderful research on here and wonderful tips on how to use this program in your instruction and how to engage students in technology appropriately. So in all of your spare time, I know that we have as teachers, I do though encourage you to look at this because there is some really great things on there. And then this help button. And we're going to go ahead and click into this help button right away because this is where you go to at 11 o'clock at night when you're trying to figure out something in the program and you can't figure out how to do it. You click on here and it's going to show you a little bit more about My Library or assignments or the Manage Student tile. This is your go-to help button. Okay, so to get back to that main menu, you're going to go up here into the corner, in the left-hand corner. You can always click on the Universe button to get you back to the screen where you're going. Likewise, you once you're in here, and we're going to click into the My Library, you'll also see you can click to other titles by going to this little menu button on the side. All right, so when you get into your Benchmark Universe account, this is what it's going to look like. You have rights to the ebooks and the e-posters. So for those of you who are dove into your Anchor Comprehension Workshop materials, you actually have all of your e-posters uploaded in here too. So just as we scroll down here, you can see you have 4,500 some materials. It may be a little less on yours just because I have every little thing loaded onto my account. But yeah, you'll see you have ebooks, you have PDFs. These are actually little take-home books that you can print out. And then here are these e-posters, and these are the same posters as what you have for your Anchor Comprehension Workshop that you can also look for. So we call this our infinite scroll because as you keep tabbing down, you will see everything that is loaded into here. So this would be a ton of books to look through to find something for your classroom. So that's why I'm going to show you right off of the bat how to filter your, how to put in some filters so you can find what you're looking for. On the left side, you'll see the levels. So if you were working with some students on a first grade, second grade level, you might be searching for levels F, G, and H. Okay, this is going to narrow down my books or my posters that I'm looking at. You could also filter by Lexile range. So just by moving these tabs back and forth, you can change the Lexile level you're looking for your students. Okay. Right off the bat, if you're looking for one of the posters, you can click on the tab, or if you just want an ebook, you can eliminate, your e-posters. Scroll down, you just want English books, or you want some dual language, you want some Spanish books, okay? You can also filter by content area. So most of our books, the majority of them, are linked to science or social studies areas. And so that might be a great way to do some cross-content connections. So you can do that as well. The other thing I do want to point out is this All Filters button. This is where you can really get down and sort our books in many, many different ways. So up here, you can see the criteria I've already put in. I've been searching for level F, G, H, and ebooks. At any point in time, I can actually delete any of those filters that I've put in place. My new vocabulary word as Benchmark Universe rolled out was breadcrumbs. So these up here are my breadcrumbs. This is the trail I followed. These are the filters I've put in. So let's say I'm working on a comprehension strategy of analyzed character or drawing conclusions. I can actually click on this comprehension strategy, and right there I can say, okay, I want to filter out all of my analyzed character books on this level. Or let's say you are working in your Anchor Comprehension Workshop books, okay? So you can click on a series and you can scroll down through here and find the different series of books. So if you actually open up a Benchmark Education catalog and you say, okay, I want to see some of these prime books and what they look like, you can actually search through different series that are in there. Instructional categories, English learner levels. There are just a ton of different ways that you can go through and put on different filters. Biographies, citizenship. These are all wonderful ways that you can kind of narrow down what you're looking for. So once we have our criteria in, we're going to submit. Okay, and it's narrowed down to 114 products. Okay, so we've come down quite a bit. And then the other way that you can also search and actually it's now an and or feature, is you can actually put in a keyword. So this is great when you know that your first graders are looking at soil. You could actually type in soil and see if you get any books that are going to come up. Sometimes you have to put in different keywords. You know, instead of fall, you might need to put in autumn, or likewise, you might need to do some synonyms, but we're going to go ahead and get my books to come back up here. All right. Every time that you do a filter search and you narrow down and you've found books that you want to utilize in your instruction, you actually don't need to go back and re-enter those filters in every time you come up. You can actually create a bookshelf. So that's what I want to show you next, is we've narrowed down the books, and now we're going to add a new bookshelf. So you can see the bookshelves button up here is highlighted. To create a new bookshelf, all you're going to do is click on this Add New Bookshelf. You can create as many bookshelves as you want to. So anytime you're doing anything in here, I say label it clearly so you know what it is when you come back to it. So this is Analyze Character FGH. Submit. Okay, you can see it right up here at the top of my list of bookshelves. All I have to do to put books into my bookshelf now is click on the title on the book, and you can see it's kind of floating over here. Once my bookshelf is highlighted, I can let go, and here it is. You can see I've entered one book into my bookshelf. Okay. Okay, so now I've added two. Let's say I'm looking through here and I'm like, oh, A Flower for the Emperor. This would be a wonderful book for my my drawing conclusions, F, G, and H, bookshelf. I can also drop it into there. Okay, so you can utilize any of these bookshelves at any time. Because I know as a teacher, like if I'm in a library and I was like, oh, this would be a good book for this, unit as well. You can definitely drop into any of the bookshelves at any time. Now, to find those books, all I have to do is click over, and here is my bookshelf. You can add, you can delete books from these bookshelves at any point in time. Okay. Now, what I can do, if I want to create an assignment off of these books, you can actually click on the Assignment tab, create a new assignment, and this is Analyze Character. Okay. You can drag your drop in materials, so you can put more than one material in an assignment for your students. Pop it over here. We're going to drag this one in here. Okay. The next thing on creating assignments is audio. Right now, the audio is automatically enabled for your students to use at any point in time. Sometimes teachers have created an assignment of leveled books. So they've actually created a bookshelf of all of their level A books, okay? And they're going to assign it, all of those level A books, to their level A reading students for them to do at night. And so they go ahead and they pop them all over here, but because we're trying to encourage them to read independently on their reading level, they may check this audio available off. Okay, so you do have the ability in an assignment to take off that audio so they don't use it as a crutch. Sometimes it's a wonderful piece. The next question, I know as you are intervention teachers, well, what if some of my students need it and some of them don't? You can absolutely, I'll show you how to get into the assignments, and you can actually turn it off for some students and turn it on for others. So there's definitely the ability to meet students where they are and meet their needs with many of the things within Benchmark Universe. Okay, the next thing is you're going to type your instructions for your assignment. So I'm going to say, read the two texts and complete the T-chart on analyzing Analyzing character traits in your literacy journal. Obviously, you can give your students as many directions as they need here. Whatever you want them to do, just read these books at night. However, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to select your students that you are going to assign. We'll be talking a little bit later about how you actually put your students into groups and your accounts. So we're going to go to my class here. I have a level Q group. Let's see. Okay, here you can see I have my Pirates, my Cardinals, my Lions, or I can see all of my students' names. So you can select students individually to do this assignment. You can select all of them. You can say, I also want the Lions to do this group and the Bluebirds. Once you get all of your students clicked on, their names are all below. This means the assignment's going to go out to all of them. If you accidentally put Elisha's name on here, you can X off. Okay, this is the list of students I want it to go to. Click Done. Then the final thing you need to do to create that assignment is you need a start date. So let's say Monday, and they need to have that assignment completed by Friday. Okay, you must put a start and an end date on your assignments to save them, to complete the assignment in the program. At any point in time, you can edit these dates, you can reassign it, you can put other students in here, and that's all done through the assignments tab that we'll look at in a little bit. Okay, click on save, and we're done. Okay, we're going to go back into that library so I can show you a little bit more about the books. So that was really quick. We went over how to filter for books by using the filters on the left-hand side as well as the all filters. The all filters, remember, is where you can narrow down to look at your series of books, comprehension strategies, content areas. You can also search by doing a keyword search up here. By your breadcrumbs below, we're going to go ahead and click the start over, and now we're back. We've cleared it. We don't have any filters in, and we're just as if we've logged in. We also looked at the bookshelves and how to create a bookshelf, and then we briefly looked at how to create an assignment. Okay. Now let's look at the actual books themselves. They have a ton of features that we're going to look at. By clicking on the book cover here, you can actually open it up and read it. And as we load it, it will come out and it's going to ask me if I want to customize the book. If you do not want to customize it, that's fine. If you just want to read it, all you're going to do is click on No. Let's say I want to go ahead and get into it and highlight text for my students, put in some sticky notes, and then I would click on the yes. But for right now, we're just going to do the no because we just want to look at it. Okay, the little corner here flips, and if you click on that, like the page turning, that's how you're going to arrow through the book. Our books look exactly like they do in person. So you may have seen that front cover spread is just like you've opened up the books. What strategies and skills can I teach with this book? A little bit more about this is a book that's an opinion argument text. So it's going to talk a little bit more about that. So it has all of those wonderful resources that all of our benchmark books have on them as if you have it directly in your hand. Your students can also open them up or yourself and turn on the audio by clicking on the middle.
Opinion argument texts. In an opinion argument text, the writer picks a topic.
You may have noted right there in that first sentence, all of our books are actually read by actors and actresses, okay? Meaning there's a lot of intonation in their voice, a lot of fluency. So this is a great model reading for all of your students as they're getting in here. It's not just a computer reading that text in a very monotone fashion, okay? So right now we're in present mode. and we're going to show you a little bit more about how you can customize these books in just 1 second. So I'm going to click out of here. We're going to get back out. Like I said, the bottom corner is going to tell you if it's an ebook, if it's a PDF, or a poster. On the right-hand side, you might see this little gear box. If you click on the little gear on the right, the launch button, that's what we just did. It'll pull up that book for you to use, either to customize it or just to read it. Okay. The more information, we're going to click on that because this is where it's going to tell you all of your information. So if you did a keyword search, such as presidents, you can open this up and say, okay, what reading level is this book at? What series is this book a part of? Might give you a little description here. Also down below, you can see there are some reviews. So these are all teacher reviews. These are what teachers have said to the program. On the student side of things, students can actually review books after they've read them as well. However, once one of your students has reviewed the book, it's going to come to you to okay it, so that we don't have inappropriate book reviews out there for your other students to read. And these book reviews are just shared within your students as well. So that can be kind of a fun because it can be a way for your students to respond to what they're reading. So they can give, the books 3 stars. And write a little bit about that book. So that's kind of a fun feature that they've got built in here. Okay. All right. We're going to click out of this. I'm also going to show you, we're going to pull up another book down here. Let's look at this, Big Oak, Little Oak. I'm going to click on the More Information tab here. I do want to point out that underneath the book title, when you are in the More Information, is a teacher's guide. So if you click on that teacher's guide, this is a PDF. So this is exactly what comes with your 6-pack of books. So in your Anchor Comprehension Workshop, you get these wonderful little teacher's guides. These are all on here in PDF. So if you have 2 other teachers that are also using this book, and you all need to look at the teacher's guide, you also have it here in the Benchmark universe. You can print it out or you can look at it straight from here. Okay. If I go back, you can also pull up the comprehension cards. Okay. These little comprehension cards are gold because these level 2 and level 3 questions, these are the same type of questions that 85% of your assessment questions look like these level 2 and level 3 questions. You don't need to make them up. They're here. Use them. Okay. The other cool thing that I love to do is you can actually copy and paste straight from these comprehension cards, put them in a Post-it note, and put them into your book. So when you're reading and utilizing these books, you can just copy and paste, boom, there's your question to ask your students. It's not double the work. All you've got to do is be able to copy and paste it over. So I've showed you those resources. I've pulled them up, and now it's ready for me to customize. So we're going to launch the book. And we're going to name our customization so that I can remember what it is when I'm using it. So we're going to entitle this customization as Trees. Okay, first grade unit 2. All right, that's my customization. Just as I would sit down with a book in my teacher planning and with all my resources, I have my book, I have my comprehension question card, and I have my teacher's guide. Okay, so I can go through, I can pull through these resources as I'm planning out my instruction. Okay, can pull back over to the book, and I can go ahead and I can edit it however I want to. Okay, I know right off the bat that I'm in edit mode, both because it says edit mode up here, but visually I have this graph paper. Okay, when we were over in the presentation mode, and I'll show you how to click over to that in just a minute, it was a navy blue screen behind it. How you do that is you click on this little button up here, And now I'm over in present mode, okay? Click back over here and I can now edit the book, okay? On the sides of the book are actually close reading notes. So if you're working with your students on how to make close reading notes, students can actually go in there and type on their versions as well, and you can put in some notes for them, okay? The audio, you can turn it on and off. Annotations, if you have younger students or you have students that would just be too much for to have those close reading notes on, you can take those off at any point in time, okay? The print button up here at the top, this is just to print off any notes that you have put in the book, okay? So it's not going to print off the whole book in a nice little PDF for your students. It's just to print off any notes that you have put into your customizations, okay? Perhaps the most important button up here is this is the save button. So once I get in here and using my tools on the side, and once I've done anything, I want to be sure that I'm consistently going up here and saving the work that I've done. So with doing that, we'll get over to the tools here. Our little wrench is where all of our tools are housed. There's a pencil, there's a highlighter, there's shapes. There's a shade here. The shade's kind of cool. I can go ahead and shade out my title. And then we can read the whole book and I can have my students write a title, or can you guess what a good title for this book would be? So that's kind of a fun thing to do. If you get, you know, further into your text, and especially with the higher level text, you know, if I need to chunk it and I need to shade out, you know, like a sentence or a paragraph, I can go ahead and put a shade over it at any point in time. I can highlight words. Okay. Let's see. Let's go over to my comprehension card and let's see. Here's a question right here. Many people blank in the stores. Okay, I'm going to control copy. It says it's on page 14. I'm going to go over to my book. Click over to page 14. So what page I'm at? I'm 11. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and grab a sticky note, and let's say all of my comprehension questions are going to be on a green sticky. I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to paste it right in here so that when I'm reading it and working with my students, I can click on my little sticky, and here's the question. Okay, so there's a ton of different little things you can do in these books. You can also put in links, so you can put in hyperlinks. If I click up on that bottom button, you can actually see the spread of all my books. So I can click over to, you know, page 12, page 13 really easily. There's also a button right here, a plus sign button. This is where you can actually add a page. I was always like, why would you want to add a page to a book? Well, like I said, if you've got a book with a ton of text and you want your students just to read a certain, you know, pages, and then if you want them to dig back into the text, answer questions, you could put in a blank page and post in questions, or stop here, you know, this is Tuesday night's reading. Another fun thing you can do is you can actually put in a YouTube page. So, you know, if you have a cool little video you want to show them on trees, or an introduction about trees before they even start writing, all you have to do is put in the page name here, copy and paste the URL, and then that link will be embedded into your book to use. So there's a ton of fun things that you can do within the books as well. All right, so once we have edited it, we've created all these customizations, we are going to save what we've done. We're going to go back over here to presentation mode, check and see what everything looks like. All right, does my sticky note, is it there? This is great to do, especially on a smart board, to make sure you can see everything. And so this is exactly what it looks like. Fun thing is now, let's say I'm presenting it with students and I have it up on a smart board, and I want them to answer things or I want them to highlight things. They still have access to some of these tools, not all of them. They can go in here and circle things, and you can be like, well, trunks, that might not be the right answer, but nothing that they do in presentation mode saves. So your hard copy, all of your customizations will already be there. Your students can't change any of those hard saves that you've done in edit mode. Okay, but they can go through here, you know, circle high frequency words, underline. There's a lot of different things that they can do within here. We do suggest that you do use the tools within Benchmark Universe rather than using any smartboard tools, because they do not interact well with each other. So we encourage you to use the tools built in Benchmark Universe rather than any smartboard tools. Okay. So really just these customizations are getting in here and just using it and playing around with it. Note, you can also make as many customizations as you want to a book. Okay, so you can customize it for different groups, different times, different purposes. Once a book has been customized, you'll see here that the book will have a blue title at the bottom. Okay, so you can kind of see the difference on my screen. All of the books that I have customized are here on the blue. Now, if I click on the title, this customization that's highlighted here at the bottom will come up. Okay, if I want to, well, sorry, my computer's acting goofy. All right, if I want to add the customized version to an assignment, I can do that here to the bookshelf. If I want to change to the original version, I just need to click on that title. Or if I want to go to the customized version. So you just click on this title to go back and forth between the clean version or one of your customized versions. But whatever it says here on the bottom is which version will pop up when I launch it or when I click on the book. Okay. All right, so we have done a lot in this library. And like I said, this is where you're going to spend the bulk of your time. Let's say you're working on this 10 o'clock at night, can't remember how to do anything. You could go to that help button, or you can also, up on the right hand corner, you're going to see these little show me how buttons. You click on this and little video tutorials are going to show you how to do the different things within the program. So there's a lot of built-in supports for you here as well. Okay. All right, we're going to go back out to my main menu, and I'm just going to show you a couple more things that I referred to as we were working within the library. This is where you find those messages, and then I'm going to show you a little bit here. This is the assignments. So once I've created assignments, this is where I can go, edit, reassign. So if I create some assignment, you know, this month when I'm working with students, and then I want to do the same assignment, maybe tweak it a little bit for another group in a couple months, I can go back in here, find the assignment, change dates, change students, all through going to the assignments tab and editing. Okay. We're going to scroll down and look at, let's see. We're going to look at one that I did a while back, this evaluate author's purpose. Okay, this is an assignment I did back before. You can see all the students who've done this assignment. On the right side, you'll see the status button. The green status means that they have completed the assignment. The yellow means that they've opened it. So they've opened it, maybe they're working on it. The red means that they have not touched it. So I may, you know, it's Wednesday, the assignment's due on Friday. These little red button students, I may write them a message and say, hey, want to be sure that you're working on this. It's due on Friday. You can also go over here and we'll look at Lucilia. You can take her off the assignment by deleting it right there. You can also see if the student has put any notes. So on their version, if they've done any close reading notes or put any sticky notes, if you click on that Notes tabs, you'll see all the blue notes over here on the right are all close reading notes she took, and all of the yellow ones are any sticky notes that she may have put in the book. Okay, so this is a great way to look in and see what their note-taking skills look like. And you may put that as an assignment for the student. You can also toggle between books, any other books that she's put in any notes. You can print them. So if you need records for a data collection file, you can do that as well. Okay. You can also, like I said, it's really easy to customize individual students to their learning needs. So if you need to, you can click on that right there, and you can go ahead and click on, one of these books titles and put in an extra sticky note or put in highlights or turn on the audio for that student. So this is a way that you can customize an individual student's text that she's looking at. Maybe you've assigned 5 books, but for this particular student, I need to really narrow down what they're looking at. And that's a great way that you can do the same assignment for everyone, and then you can tweak things for individual students. All right. All right. Now we're going to go back out, and we're going to look at this Manage Students tab. Once you have your students loaded in and connected to you in Benchmark Universe, you will see you have your different classes. You can actually create a first grade, a second grade, a third grade class, and just toggle through. In this class, let's see, this class I have 25 students. It's highlighted on the left. These are the groups I've created. So you can see I have a Bears group. I have my kids by reading levels. However, whatever works for you. Students can be in as many groups as you want to. So they can be in a reading group. It can be a math group. It can be a group for a certain strategy. Okay, maybe all these kids need a little bit extra boost on evaluating an author's purpose. So there's just a ton of different ways that you can group your students, as you know. Here you will see the whole list of students that are in this class. If you click on the little I, it's going to give you that student's information. Okay, so their username. You want to be sure that somewhere you have a list of all of your student usernames and passwords. Reason being, you are out for the day if a substitute is in, or if anybody else comes in and wants to work with these students, you have a list ready to go of how that student's going to log in. If you click on here, it's also going to tell you any other groups or classes that those students may be assigned to. Okay. To add a new group, all you do is click on this Add New Group button. Wait, my pop-up's not working. And you're going to click, I'm just going to tell you, technology here. Okay, you're going to add the new group. This is why. First, you have to click on the class. Oh, here I've added about 5. You have to scroll down to find it. I'm sorry about that. And then you're going to, you can title it however you want to. So, Tigers. Oh, delete this out. Okay, and then all you have to do is highlight the student's name and drop them into your group. Okay, so it's really easy once you scroll down to find it and add students into your group, delete them, change them. We know like reading levels change all the time. A lot of those things are very fluid, so it's super easy, to pop them in, take them out. Yes, she's no longer in this reading group. Likewise, a great thing that you can do is you can make a bookshelf of all of your level G books. Okay, make it as an assignment assign it to my students that are then working on level G to read at night. And then as Art moves from a level G to a level H, all I have to do is delete him out of that. And then you can also, assign him then the level H books. So there's a lot of ways that you can utilize that assignments and these groups within the system to do a lot of cool things. Okay. And then I think then we have made it through Benchmark Universe. So once again, at any point in time, if you have questions, you have these Show Me How buttons on the right-hand corner. And then you also have the Help button in the tiles here as well that you can utilize it. So I hope this webinar has been helpful for you. You feel a little bit more comfortable diving into the program and utilizing it with your students. A lot of it, you just kind of have to get in and play with it and then talk with your cohorts on how they're using it with their students. And of course, if you have any questions, you can contact tech support or you can contact your district people who will forward that on to me, and I can definitely help you at any time with it. So with that, we hope you have a great day and enjoy using Benchmark Universe with your students.